come on in. The water's rye. Where do we go from here, right? That's what they always, maybe there, here, there, maybe nowhere, they always, where do you go from here? Why don't maybe we stay here? Or nobody ever says, where do we go from there? Well, I guess they do say, where do we go from there? Well, maybe here. Is everybody here? Everybody? Be careful how you answer that. Is Reier? Yes, that's me. All right. Reier's here. Kind of just a kind of a facial check mark. Red Bull? Come on, we got to use our words. Don't just raise your hand. Come on. God, he never speaks. But he's so brilliant at the same time. This is kind of rare. I don't go sugar-free Red Bull often. I don't know why the concept of sugar-free kind of scares me more than the concept of sugar, because it's sweet, but there's no sugar, so what's going on? What's being created? It's almost like there's a little penguin in a lab coat that's just kind of putting things into a beaker. I don't know why it would be a penguin, but in my mind it certainly is. Most certainly is. A little penguin in a tuxedo. Because that's kind of what they look like they're wearing all the time, isn't it? A tuxedo. It's a pretty fancy animal, the penguin, but hey everybody, welcome to the Hole in the Pen Cap. This is my podcast, the Hole in the Pen Cast. That's kind of a fun name we came up with recently. If you have any fun nicknames for it, or maybe what we can, I don't know, any endearing nicknames for the podcast. Sometimes I call it Pen Cap. I mean, I guess HIT, Hole in the Pen, hit PC. I don't know, that's kind of weird. We could just call it probably the whole thing, maybe. That's what a lot of people do when it comes to titles. But hey everybody, welcome to the Hole in the Pen Cap. I'm Reier Cammerman. I'm a comedian. Yes, I'm a comedian. I'm a kind of new bar back. I've been bar backing, been kind of handing people things, and then going to get, being, hey Reier, can you go get that liquor bottle? Yeah. And then just kind of getting lost in a closet for about 14 minutes during rush, my help is really needed. So just kind of doing everything wrong in a way, but doing okay with it, doing fine with it. But I believe this is episode 17, possibly 18, but I think 17. And it's our second week in a row. We're working on consistency. And we're working on stirring it up until it's a consistent texture, right? So that we can put it into little balls and make cookies. Or put it into maybe those little cupcake liners. And you'd say, oh, cupcake liners, what's the difference between a cupcake and a muffin? I suppose frosting. Maybe that's what I am. Maybe I come out of a little can. That's the opening of the can. I don't know why it sounds like someone's eating through it, but yeah, what's the difference between a muffin and a cupcake? Well, I suppose a little love. That's what they say, right? What's the difference between a Reier and a tree? I suppose a little bark. God, I always bark, and I never bite into I never bite down at the orthodontist. they always have you bite down on something. They'd give you this little plastic thing, and they go, just go like that, tap, 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 tap. Yeah, I did. Thank you so much for coming back. I'm Reier again, and I'm wearing shorts today. I hope that's okay. I hope it's not arousing. I'm joking. I know it's not. That was a joke. God. I hope, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to experiment with clothes and different things and see how I feel. Wearing different things that I kind of wouldn't let myself wear in the past. So I'm trying the shorts, and I don't mind, but it is winter. So it's odd that I'm doing that now. It's kind of, I'm kind of like that little teddy bear in the kindergarten classroom. The one it's on the whiteboard, and it's not like a real teddy bear, but it's like a picture of a teddy bear that's a magnet. It's a magnetic teddy bear on the whiteboard. And maybe above it says, what's Teddy gonna wear, or something. And then it'll be, over on the other side. It's kind of a big procedure, but over maybe on the right side, there's a picture of different, maybe there's a wheel that you spin and it lands on different weathers, like sunny or cloudy, or even though I don't know if cloudy would necessarily affect what you wear, but I suppose maybe if you're feeling sad. I wear different things based on my emotions for sure. I don't know. Maybe, I guess it depends. Because right now I kind of wear the same thing most days because I work most days. So I just kind of wear black, like a black shirt. And then usually pants. But, well, who needs pants? Said the rhino to the tree. Who needs pants? And the tree said, not me. Who needs eyes? Said the tree to the cat. Not I. Those, I love children's books where it's like, what is that, specifically that book I think is Black Bear, what do you see? I see that bear looking at me. What do you see? I see the Lord and Savior looking at, it'd be funny if there was one scary one, because in that book it's like, oh, Black Bear sees a caterpillar sees a fish sees Satan in the shower. Oh my God. No, you're not supposed, this is a children, oh, so I'm supposed to lie. Okay, I see my own shadow shaking its head in disapproval. Nobody ever says shaking its head in approval. I guess you would say nodding its head, but nobody says nodding their head in disapproval, which I think I would do. It's fun to look at something really, really close and forget how close you are. I suppose that's kind of a lot of life is that, looking at something really close, and then deciding whether or not you're going to zoom out, right? Like any problem, maybe you see kind of poverty, or you see homelessness, and you go, am I just going to look at this and go, oh, this one guy is kind of being weird out here, or am I going to zoom, not weird, but maybe not wearing a shirt or something, which is fine, but then maybe also not wearing shoes, which is also okay, but we're not at the water park. We're in the street. And that's the difference. Yes, you decide in your own head, am I going to zoom out and look at this as a larger issue, or am I just going to focus on, oh, that's kind of weird that guy is drawing a smiley face onto that other guy. And we're outside. And it's during the day, and I was going to say there's kids around, but on 6th Street, there's not usually, except on Halloween, for some reason, there was a bunch of kids, which I imagine was like a trick-or-treating thing, but it felt really unsafe. I wish this was colder. Um, and that's on me. I didn't make it cold enough because I forgot to put it in the fridge. I stayed up a lot less for a while last night. I was trying to write, which I do often. I like writing at night, which and it's often not productive. But I lately it's been a little better because a couple of days ago I got a new bed. Yeah, watch out, ladies. And I wonder how that got associated with sex or arousal or whatever. You know the. I guess maybe when you get kind of deep into it. I'm not able to wink. I never could. I remember as a kid, maybe in like 6th grade or something, I was in theater class and we were playing this game where it was like you wink at somebody and then, they wink at somebody else. It's like it's a quiet game. I think our teacher just maybe didn't want us to speak or something, which I understand. I mean, talking can really become too much sometimes when you're not in the mood for it, even if you are teaching and it's kind of you're maybe going to have to deal with that. But somebody, so it would start with one person and they would wink at somebody else, right? And that other person would wink at somebody else. So you're kind of just, the whole time you're like looking around at people going, are you going to wink at me? And I was not able to wink. So it would be really obvious whenever it was my turn. It was kind of ruin the whole game because then everybody would know who got because it would be kind of, instead of like a casual, it'd be, Anthony, look at my eyes. Or like this. It just really gives the whole game away, if you know what I mean. So maybe that was unfortunate, but oh yeah, we're talking about the bed. It's so I got a new bed and it's a trundle trun. You don't hear that word often, do you? Trundle. It almost sounds like some sort of carriage that an Amish person would use, a trundle. Or like a bundle of trees. I guess that also could be just a bundle of sticks. But no, I got it from a friend, and it's a pull-out bed, which is really cool because so it's like a twin bed on top, and then also a twin bed on the bottom. So it's kind of like a dress, if you look at it, if you're maybe a giant or something, it could look like a dresser that you sleep in, like, maybe how cats would sleep in a dresser or like orphans in a movie. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Or like a really soft, really big staircase. It could also look like that, if that's how you want to perceive it. But yeah, I'm really, really happy to have it. I got rid of my old bed because I moved into a smaller room and I thought, oh, the bed's too big for this room. Because then I won't have any room to walk around, and walking around is very important to me. Just kind of going on strolls in my own, in my own bedroom, kind of just going on walks in the park, but it's kind of just walks in the dark because I turn off the lights and then I just kind of stumble around in the night, in a 6 by 8 foot space. I haven't measured exactly, but maybe it's somewhere around there. No, it's probably it's bigger than that, but not by much. Probably like 8 by 8. But no, it would be fun to just kind of get a, what's it called? The measuring device, the ruler thing, and just kind of, I think nowadays you can do it with your phone. I was watching these videos that I got really into, and it's where this guy, I think he's a real, no, I don't think he's a realtor. I don't know, but he goes up to people and he goes, so it's usually in New York, but he's done it in other places too, but he goes, how much do you pay for your apartment in New York? I think I'd maybe talked about this on an episode before, but I'm still really into it. And usually the people, I imagine usually the people would be like, I don't know you. But then sometimes they will just say the price. And then he goes and he like tours the apartment. And sometimes he'll like do measurements, I think. Or maybe I'm mixing that up with something else. But yeah, they just use their phone now. They like tap one side of the wall and then they tap the other side of the wall, which is really cool. I mean, what an advancement. There's a bucket of cement to my right. My right hand. I don't know why my right hand man, I don't know why I'm so compelled to make my name into objects and phrases. I think because it kind of, it's almost, it's like the way you give a kid a nickname. It's kind of me doing that. Just kind of showing myself that I care. Going, Reier, I am what I pay. I love you. And I go, what? You don't even know me. And you go, yeah, but I'm you, so I do. Well, fine. All right. What's my favorite color? I just kind of quiz myself on facts about myself. Not facts, but opinions about myself. But my own opinions about myself. All right. What do I think about my hair? You like it. You think it's pretty good, but sometimes, you think it maybe looks too feminine or whatever. But you don't, you had a good haircut from a woman named Season. It was either Season or Seasons, and she was wonderful. I believe it was in Wisconsin. And, yeah, she was great. She gave me a great haircut. And we talked about her son. I remember that. That tends to happen. When I'm getting a haircut, we either talk about their kids or we talk about comedy. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, what do you do? And I'll be like, oh, I work at a comedy club. They're like, oh, are you a comedian? Yeah, I do comedy. Yeah, I do that sometimes. But I'm also a volcano. What? Well, I'm also a volcano. You're a volcano, yes. All right, let's go on to the next, just kind of getting them. It is funny to say something that's insane and then not specify in any way, right? To just kind of go, I'm a tree and I love to become alligators. Really making no effort to make any sense, which is where freedom comes into play, right? When you go, I don't even fucking care if anything that I'm saying makes sense, then there's also the danger of, okay, well, then it kind of stops being funny too. I was talking to my friend on the phone a while ago, maybe a few weeks ago, and I found myself saying this. I found myself saying, I don't even care if they laugh. And then he said, Reier, yeah, you do. And I said, yeah, you're right. I do. So yeah, it was just kind of weird. It was just kind of him catching me and me just kind of going, my comedy doesn't even need to be funny. And I think I was maybe just kind of getting, I don't even know, just kind of getting frustrated with the whole, you ever get frustrated with the whole goal of what you're doing? Like maybe you're playing soccer or something and you go, why do I have to kick it in the goal? Why can't I just pick it up with my hands and draw something on it? Why not? Or maybe you, you work you're an accountant or something and you go, well, why do I have to count money? I don't know if that's exactly what they do. I imagine it's 5, 6. See, it's easy when you're going 1 up or you're going 5 up, but you go 5, 6, and now you have a 5. So but 5 plus 5 is 10, so you go 11. 5, 6, 11. But you would assume what you would do is you'd put all the 5s in one pile and you put all the 1s in one pile, right? And then you do all the 5s first. Because that's how then you're going to land on an even number and then you go with the 1s. And I'm not the boss of you. But if that's what maybe that's a fun thing to do. But I got the trundle, so I got the bed, which has been really nice. I put some sheets on it. My my roommate that lived in the room before me, she had this pink, kind of plasticky blanket type thing, almost like a tarp texture, but it wasn't a tarp because it was pretty small, and it was over the window, and I left it on there because I didn't have anything to cover it up with, and the window's very bright. It doesn't close, the shades I don't think close all the way, and also our neighbors live right there. We live in a duplex, and they live right, I believe it's called a duplex. I don't know if that's what it's called, but it's kind of complex. Kind of complex living in a duplex. It sounds very fancy, the word duplex. It's very fancy. Duplex. I live in a duplex. What? Why are you talking? Duplex complex. I'm back. I thought that'd be funny. God, but I always think it's gonna be funny, and that's not true. But my neighbors live in this duplex. They live in a building right next to us, and my window is facing it. And it is just very strange because, the place that they park is pretty much right outside my window. And so I'll look up and then, up to the window, and then they're just kind of standing there like with their keys or something. And it's, hi. You don't know at that point. You're like, let's just pretend we don't see each other probably. But that's also weird. It's weird to pretend you don't see a human, a person. Or even, I guess with a dog, you kind of can pretend that you don't see them because they don't really, they don't have the social skill, but it is rude. Well, let's see. Ignoring a human is rude. Ignoring someone that's blind is rude. They're also a human, of course. I'm not saying they're not. That'd be crazy. What a stance that would be. What a horrible stance. Horrible stance. Because you think of, we use that word stance is a position you take for an argument, right? A position you take. But it's also a position you can physically take, which is, I suppose I understand. What would be a bad stance physically to take? Maybe like this. It's like a weird way to stand. I remember in wrestling, at a camp I went to, we had just finished sprints or something. I think it was sprints, or it was like some like stair workout or something. And then I was standing like this to breathe because I was struggling to breathe. And one of the guys one of the like trainers, I suppose, or like counselors or whatever, came up to me, and he was like, "Put your hands down. That looks weak. Don't show your weakness." And so I've always remembered that, and I never like did that again working out because I was like, "Oh, that's just weakness." But it's interesting now as someone who's like not competing for it, like in wrestling, you're competing for something, you're going against someone. But now even when I like do like anxious workouts in my bedroom, where I like start doing push-ups at 4 a.m. because I'm worried I might have heart disease or something, that happens. I still won't do it because I don't want to show weakness. Which is interesting because I show weakness in so many other ways, right? I mean, I literally verbally say it. I go, God, I'm scared. You scare me. I've gotten better. I haven't told anyone that in a while. I've been actively trying not to, because I do think it's hurtful. But yeah, no, I do remember that specifically. I remember a lot of things specifically, I think. I don't know if I remember too many things broadly, but I will remember small details of things. But then I'll forget kind of the larger. I'll be like, oh, I remember when I have this very specific memory. I was probably like 6 or 7, and I was stepping into a swimming pool. Just like, I don't know if it was like a public pool or something. And I was stepping into it, and I thought in my head, I said, Reier, remember this moment forever. Just it was pretty dramatic, but remember this moment forever. And I kept saying that because I was like, I think I had just learned about memory. I don't know when you learn about memories, but I had, maybe my dad or somebody was telling me about when he was a kid. And I was like, oh, do you remember everything? And he's like, no, I don't remember most of it. It was probably something to that extent of like me realizing you forget things and then wanting to remember it. So I just went, I remember this forever. And I did. I also know that I did that several more times because I remember that becoming a thing I would do, and I don't remember really any of the other. I mean, I think I know I remember vaguely. So I guess I do remember broadly, but broad. You those brass tacks that you put on, when you're a kid and maybe you're making a clock or something out of a paper plate and you put a brass tack through the middle and you connect it to another paper plate, but the first paper plate has a little triangle cut out of it so that when you spin it, it lands on a different time. And so maybe you pretend reading the time or something. Or whatever it is that you do. Isn't that a rude thing to, whatever it is that you do? Or it's just a single paper plate with numbers on it, right? So you go 1, 2, all the way to 12. And then you have a long arrow and you have a short arrow and they're both connected to the brass tack. I believe it's called a brass tack. And you spin them and then you practice reading the big hand and the small hand. God, the world is a jungle. But at least we have paper plates and we have the concept of time. What a beautiful concept that is also. But yeah, so I got the new bed. And I also, I cleaned out my room again, which I do a lot. I clean up my room a lot, but this time it's actually kind of stuck a little bit. Like I'm not getting it messy right away again, which is good. It's hard for me to not immediately ruin anything that I create, right? It's the same when I was a kid and I would go paint ceramics by myself for hours at this little shop called Ceramics by Tess in Katy when I was like a teenager. I suppose was when I mainly went, but and I would just paint, like I would get a little what are those called? Where you put the drink on a coaster. I would get a little coaster and I would just kind of spend hours painting and like repainting. And at the end, it was pretty much always end up being just like a solid color because I guess I would always kind of ruin the thing that I created. What an interesting thing. I suppose that manifests in a lot of different ways. Self-destruction. It could be something as simple as, messing up an art project that you make. Or it could be something like quitting a job and walking around the neighborhood or walking around the block and then going back and being like, well, I shouldn't have quit that job. But it's a little too late. It's weird. I feel like I've gotten a lot of, leniency when it comes to quitting because I'm typically a pretty good employee, and I think people also can tell that I don't know, I just kind of am very impulsive, and I'll be like, yeah, it was weird I did that. Is it okay if I come back? And you'd think they could say no, but I think generally people can sense how they should treat you, right? I heard somebody say this one time. They said that they were like, yeah, I treat people, or I can tell what people need me to say, like in order to get them to take action or whatever. He was like, yeah, some people need support and some people need like to be ignored, which I thought about that and I was like, yeah, I suppose that's true in an interesting way, but it's in an interesting way. I suppose it's true kind of just generally. Maybe not for everybody, but maybe it is for everybody too, because we've said there's the two angles, right? Some people do need, like me, I think, I don't, ignoring me doesn't help me, I don't think. I mean, maybe it does in certain circumstances, but I don't know. I've always found that I kind of do appreciate validation. Uh, Not all the time, but every once in a while. Because if you leave me to my own devices, I am. I'm gonna end up kind of making an iPad into a bunny or something. If you leave me to my own devices, probably gonna break a TV and pretend that it's an aquarium or something. Or maybe just glue some paper fish onto a TV, and then, or maybe I'll put a blue piece of paper on the TV, and then I'll put some paper fish on the blue piece of paper, and then I'll go, oh, it's an aquarium, because you left me with my own devices, right? Or maybe you come back and I'm holding a remote control, and I'm just kind of pretending that it's a bubble wand, and I'm dipping it into a cup of water, and you walk in, you go, Reier, you can't do that. That's electronic. And I said, it's my device. You left me to my own device, and I made it into a bubble wand. Because anything can be true when you're alone, right? Nobody's there to tell you it's not. It's kind of fun. You leave me to my own devices. You come back, and I just have a camera, and I'm what does a camera look like? Well, it's got the big eye, right? It's like a cyclops, but it's like a kind of square cyclops, or like a rectangular cyclops. I wonder, we don't see enough humans with one eye, like in the cyclops fashion, not just. I would say, if you have one eye and you originally had two, are you now a cyclops? I'm so sorry. I don't think that's okay either. But somebody needs to raise these questions. And you'd probably say, no, they don't. And I'd say, well, my name's Reier. That's what I would say. Yeah, I don't think people with one eye are technically cyclops. I wonder if it has any relation to the word cycle, as in bicycle, unicycle. I would suppose cycle, you think of kind of something round, right? Even if it's just like the cycle of the moon, or like the cycle, like a menstrual cycle, or whatever it is. It's kind of round because it ends up coming around. And an eye is technically round, right? I don't know. Are all eyes round? Are all eyes created equally? Probably no. I would say definitely not, because we have glasses and contacts and whatnot. But, so yeah, I got the new bed. And that's been wonderful. I cleaned out my room. My closet is still broken. It fell off its hinges, in a, not really in a metaphorical sense as much as an actual structural issue. And I don't really know how to put it back on. And honestly, it doesn't bother me that it's off. I just kind of lean it kind of up against the wall, and now I just kind of have an alcove in my room, and that used to be a closet, and so sometimes I'll kind of move the door around the room, and I'll simulate the creation of new rooms, like some sort of renovation. And somebody will come in my room, and they'll be like, right, what is that? You have a bathroom or something? When'd you get? No, it's not a bathroom. You want to guess again? Just kind of making it a game. Is it like a closet? It's my balloon room. No, you can't go in. The balloons are shy. And also, you don't even want to go in there, I bet. I bet you don't even want to see a million balloons. Or somebody comes in, they go, maybe it's the same person that saw the balloon room, but now the door is on another side of the room, and that door's gone. And they go, right, what happened to the balloon room? Its time was done. But now, do you want to come see the alligator pit? It's like a weird, What? How did you even make that? You're, but it's facing the living room. That would be going into the living room. No, so you kind of step into the wall and then you go downwards. But the wall is really thin, right? How do you know any of this? It's crazy to just kind of keep saying, my name's Reier, and this is my room. It's kind of like a, when you're a kid and you do show and tell and you go, my name's Sam, and this is my stuffed duck. And his name is Sam the Duck. It'd be interesting to name. I suppose that does. I'm sure a lot of kids do that, but I never did that. Naming a stuffed animal or a toy or whatnot after you. I didn't want to do that because I wanted them to kind of be their own people, I suppose. And also, you already have that name. Why would you want to repeat it? I mean, that box is already checked, right? The face check. The box is already checked off. Let's get a Darwin in here, right? Let's get a Clementine. I had a Cabbage Patch doll named Clementine. God, I wonder how she's doing today. I think she's in my dad's attic in a little box, in a big box actually, with other toys and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. I probably need to get those soon. I think he's trying to get rid of it, but not the toy, but get rid of a lot of things because he's trying to move. Moving's stressful, isn't it? I don't know. I feel like for me, I guess if you have a family, it would be different because then you would feel kind of obliged to not get rid of things that mean things to other people. But when you're the only person that lives somewhere, it's like, well, I don't know if it really matters to me. This bucket of whatnot, I left a notebook somewhere recently and I got a call from a stranger and they're like, I found your notebook. No, they were really nice, actually. They were really nice. And they found it. And then what's the word? And then it was kind of a complicated handoff because I was out of town already. And I was like, it's all right. You can just throw it away. And it's not because I want the notebook thrown away. It's because I think I didn't want to feel like a burden either. But I did end up, I also thought it was another notebook that was really new and there wasn't a lot in it. But then I realized, oh no, this is what I do want because it's pretty much full. But to be honest with you, a lot of the stuff I write probably makes no sense. It makes dollars. Yeah, the bed's been nice. And, I think sometimes I wonder if this will be the one I kind of make some history on. It's a crazy thing to say, but it's a twin bed. So, that would maybe be weird, but I don't know. It's pretty big. A twin bed is pretty big. How much room do you really need to create love, to create passion? This is terrifying. But yeah, no, I really needed to get out. Really needed to get a new bed because I had been kind of sleeping on the couch for a while. And I could tell it, my roommates wouldn't say it bothered them, but I can't imagine it didn't bother them. Just me kind of walking out in the middle of the night and into our communal space and just kind of dragging a blanket and a pillow and going, don't mind me. I'm just going to sleep under this coffee table until you leave. That didn't happen, but, just really probably being disruptive because I would just get really panicky at night. I would start getting very scared. And then I would, it's in the way that a child kind of goes to their parents in the middle of the night and goes like, can I sleep with you guys? I would just kind of go to the couch and then in the morning they'd walk out and I had a rough one. I don't know if it was, I think for me being alone sometimes is scary. Even though I love being alone because like I said, anything can be true. Anything can, and your imagination can just create a whole new world when you're alone, right? But also, that's the dark side of that too. Is your imagination. When you don't want to be alone and you're alone, it can become very dark. I think because then you're just, especially for me, it's mostly trying to fall asleep. Is really hard because I'm trying to shut my brain off, and it's very hard to stop thinking about certain things, whether it be like, I don't know, a lot of it's just like the things that kids with, like, fear of darkness or or just anxiety that somebody's going to come into the room, or I don't know. I think it's all going to get better, but it's just scary sometimes, I think. Being alone. Hey. Well, I hope you guys have had a great I hope you've had fun with this episode so far. I wonder if there's anything I want to close on. We've definitely talked about kind of a wide variety of things, but it's almost 2025. Oh yeah, let's talk about resolutions. I am I feel like people don't always say what their real resolutions are, right? Because I feel like the real resolutions are so much more realistic and kind of doable. We always say things, we're like, oh, I'm gonna work, I'm gonna lose weight, or I'm gonna work out, 4 times a week or whatever. But then you think about it, and your real resolution that you, in the back of your mind, is probably like, hey, I'm not gonna quit my job this year too many times, or I'm not, for me it's probably, definitely comedy related too, but probably I'd like to visit New York this year. But I don't know if it's a resolution. I suppose it is, but I think resolutions are usually maybe more things you have to do more consistently. But yeah, a lot of resolutions people say are about working out, and I do want to work out a lot more. I'm excited to figure that out. My shoulder pops out of socket a lot though, which is hard. Because it'll just pop out of socket in public a lot of times. It'll be like me reaching for something, or the other day, or not the other day, but a few weeks ago, I was just going to shut my car door, and I reached fast because another car was coming by, and my shoulder just popped out of socket. And then I just had to like grab with the other hand really fast. But it was, the interesting thing is when your shoulder pops out of socket in public and it's not like a dramatic fall or anything, people really don't know what's happening because they didn't see anything happen. So all of a sudden you're just going, ah, because it hurts really bad. And you're just kind of, even like the way because you wouldn't, if your shoulder is out of socket, you usually would just hunch. Well, for me at least, I wouldn't like grab it. That'd be very painful. So you're just screaming, and then you're just standing like this, and it's got to be terrifying because I've had it pop out in public several times, and people, unless they're people I know, they don't come to help because it's very scary, I'd imagine. One time I was at work, and it popped out of socket, and then for whatever reason, holding it like this, like, made it feel better or whatever, but which is also weird that it was, apparently that's not the position it would pop out into, so maybe I don't think I was just confused, but maybe, and so I was just holding it like this for like 45 minutes, waiting for the paramedics, and it was very painful, and nobody really knew what was happening. I was just kind of sitting there, like crying, kind of just holding my arm in a weird way, and people walking by. Hey, I hope you had a good show. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you had a good time. Who is your favorite? Must have been terrifying, I imagine, but maybe we end on this. I don't know if I've talked about this one before, but my roommate and I both have bath mats that we brought in from other relationships, I suppose. not with other people, I don't think, but with other homes. Mine I got for this house, but and I have a frog bath mat, and she has a tiger bath mat, and because we both bred in bath mats, they both are in the same bathroom, and they've kind of been living maybe harmoniously, I don't know, but kind of in the same ecosystem, which I don't know if would a frog and a tiger, I suppose they could be in the same ecosystem, but I don't know if a tiger and a frog, if they would be that close. But it makes me think, what was my thought process on that? Well, I just think it's pretty funny to, I think we should keep adding bath mats too of different animals until we have kind of a, maybe maybe they could all be kind of endangered species too. Like we could find some sort of, I think, right, there are a lot of rhinos are endangered, and we could get some sort of African elephant or something. Or just kind of basic animals, and then we could add, because very specific species within, like in the elephant probably isn't almost extinct, but like certain species of the elephant are. If breeds of elephant? Do you call it breeds? Hello? I'm Joe. Yeah, that was an interesting one to end on. I wonder if we have one more rhino. Reier. Well, this just says, I've got your back, your bar back. Because I've been bar backing, and I haven't been doing very well, but I've been giving it a solid effort. And that's all that matters, the consistency of the effort. Is it solid? Is it liquid? Is it gas? Is it kind of a mixture of all three, like an ice cube that goes from ice to water to evaporation? Well, thank you so much for coming by. I had a wonderful time. I'm Reier Cammerman. This was The Hole in the Pen Cap, I believe episode 17. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye.